interesting game from the beginning. I kind of anticipated it being physical, but not quite as physical as it got. But I thought our kids weathered through that storm and just adjusted. You know, one of the things that we went into this game, we had a pretty solid game plan throughout, though, and we had to make some adjustments. So give our kids a tremendous amount of praise just because they were able to adjust on the fly. I thought we had some really good minutes from some of our bench players today. I thought Tia Elbert stuck out as a kid that really was sound defensively and really gave us a lift off the bench. And so it was to say that, you know, we scored 94 points, a lot of different players in the category of points today. I love the fact that we have 19 assists on 33 field goals. So give our kids a lot of credit. This was a big game for us. We tried to prepare them for the SEC opponent, and you know, it's only a matter of time. Steph's the right person for that job, and she's going to do a tremendous job as she brings in her players and they get accustomed and adjust to her system and the way she wants to play.
Questions for Coach? Shot 31% in the first quarter, went up every quarter to about 61%, 71% in the fourth. Is it just turnovers, or what type of things?
You know, I'd have to go back and I don't know, because we had, how many turnovers at half? 4? We didn't have that many. Their turnovers. It could have been a little bit the fact that it wasn't a clean game by any stretch of the means. I thought our second quarter, you know, our shot selection, I thought we got a little bit complacent. We weren't attacking off the dribble. There were open threes, and we just kind of settled for taking them. We didn't have any rebounders around the rim, and if those things go in, that's great. But if they don't, then usually you're off to the races, and that's a team that likes to run. So I thought that the reason they kind of creep back into the game in that second quarter is because of our bad shot selection. More so than anything, that allowed them to get some runouts. I thought their post players did a tremendous job. Those are two kids that are difficult to guard on the low block. You know, I don't know, you know, without watching film, if we created some of those turnovers, I'd like to think that we did. We were in the right place at the right time. You know, I was pleased with the way we handled, and we took care of the ball for sure.
What were you saying in the second half that allowed you guys to shut them down?
Well, the conversation in the locker room was about us offensively. You know, I thought that, like I said, we felt like we could attack and we could get to the basket when we wanted to, and we like I said, we started settling a little bit for outside jump shots because it was just easier. And so that was an adjustment. We made some adjustments. We were not guarding their out of bounds very well. And so we had to make an adjustment with that. They have a high horn series. We had to make an adjustment. So it was more on the defensive end, just the adjustments we were going to make, just a couple, you know, tweaks here and there. But again, I thought that we were, for the most part, pretty sound on that end. And then we just got some momentum, started scoring a little easier. You know, their big kid, I think she got hurt, tweaked her knee a little bit, so she was kind of in and out. They got really no flow, no rhythm. Give our kids credit for not looking at the scoreboard and just kind of putting their heads down and trying to execute and still pushing tempo. We felt like they were tired, they were fatigued, and so we wanted to make sure that we were still trying to get runouts, especially in the fourth quarter, to some easy baskets. I thought Amber Dean was really solid, just putting it on the deck and not settling again for threes. You know, she tried to get to the rim a couple times and had a lot of success. Right. Well, you know, I've said this before. You know, this is a kid that obviously started, you know, for us last year, Jen, and Kim's just been very consistent, and she's earned the right to be in that starting position, and Jen's going to play. I mean, we know that. You know, we're not going to, just like today, you know, Kim got in early foul trouble, and Jen had to come in and be solid for us, and she was. She probably had to play a few more minutes than she would have liked, but did a good job, I thought, of just being sound, and again, she's eats up a lot of space on the inside. You got to be able to guard her. She's physical around the rim, gets her hands on some things. So, I'm pleased with the way that Kim Royster, though, came back in and didn't foul out. Her discipline, I think that's shows a lot of growth from her end, because maybe a year ago she would have, fouled out by the third quarter. And I thought that, again, she showed some discipline there and didn't pick up or foul out of the game.
Obviously, Tyra hit 1,000 points tonight. Just what has she meant to the program, and what was that moment like out there tonight?
Well, I don't think any of us realized when it happened, and I'm sure I know that probably something was on the board. Our next home game, we're going to celebrate that with her. What she's meant to this program is that she's a first-team All-Big Ten kid, and every Big Ten team in the country wants one of those kids on your team. As you guys know, I don't have to tell you, she's our leader. She's our point guard. She's an extension of me out there, and she's just kept getting better and kept getting more consistent. She's added to her game, but she also realizes that she still has room to grow as a player and as a person here at Indiana. And she's willing to kind of look at herself every day and see her shortcomings and work on those. And that's the thing I love about her. She and I have a tremendous rapport off the floor. And we can have candid conversations about, what has to happen, what needs to happen on the floor, and dissect game plans. And so it's been a tremendous blessing to be able to coach a kid like that. But here's what I would tell you about Tyra, that the 1,000 points is great, but she wants to win a championship, and she's always going to give credit to those players that she gets to play with every day, and that's her teammates.
You guys shot 29 free throws. How do you think your team kind of reacted to that physicality?
Well, they didn't have a choice, I kind of felt like it had an opportunity there in the first quarter to get really physical. And then I thought the officials did a nice job of getting the game under control. It seemed like not just around the rim, but there was movement on their screens. And so I thought the officials did a really good job of managing that over there. Steph probably didn't like some of those calls, but they looked like they were the right calls. But anytime that happens, it's just your conversation with your kids is really simple. Either we lay down or we fight. And this group is always going to have, as we saw last year, a fight about them. They're not going to back down. And I'd take Jen Anderson any day over a lot of not just women, but a lot of guys in this room. Take her to a fight with me without question. So she's not going to back down. Kim Royster is added weight and strength, and she's playing at a whole nother level right now, and getting knocked off, her route or getting knocked in trying to go up and get a rebound. That's nothing new for those kids. And then you got Gassian, who is just long and lanky, and Lex is such a tough kid. Because she gives you so much, not just offensively, but she finds herself around the rim and can elevate and go up and get a lot of rebounds for you, and not back down from any kind of physical play. So really, really proud of the way we handled ourselves, especially in that little stretch there where it seemed like it was getting pretty physical.
That out of bounds play where they're practically hugging each other.
Right.
Did you prepare for that, or how do you?
Well, as my understanding, at least I've always thought the rule was that we got the space in between. Defensively, you get the space in between. And apparently that's not the rule. And they're going to go back and they're going to give me clarification on that, because that's always been my understanding, that you're able to, at least everybody has space, and defensively should have space in between all those slots, and we didn't. So to say that we prepared for it, yeah, but we didn't prepare that they were going to tell us we couldn't be where we wanted to be. And so we didn't. It was a rush shot. I don't know if it went in, if it missed. I think Waylon got it. But, it was one of those things that we're going to have to go back and ask some questions about, because certainly I've been telling our kids the wrong thing, that they can have those spaces, and apparently you can't.
We'll take one more question, unless everybody's good.
After a couple home wins, how ready do you guys feel?
Well, I don't know. It's going to be a great test for us. Chattanooga went over to Rutgers, on Friday when we opened up and beat them at Rutgers, and that's not an easy place to play. And this is a team that we went wire to wire with last year in the WNIT here, and they got everybody coming back. Jim Foster's a tremendous coach, and so it's going to be a tremendous test. And then we go and play a really great opponent at Western Kentucky, and so it'll be great for us. Are we ready? I don't know, but we got to get ready. We don't have a choice. But to be on the road, we're going to have to, and I said this a year ago, figure out a way to win games in the Big Ten on the road. And in order to do that, you got to prepare your group. And I think these two games are really going to at least start our journey with how difficult it is to play away from your home, how different it is. You're not sleeping in your own bed. Your routine is knocked off a little bit, and so we got to figure that out. But we'll, I got veterans in that locker room, and we're only going to be as good as those guys, and they know that. And so we're going to look forward to it. I like it because it's an opportunity for us to spend some time together away from Bloomington. So I would anticipate a great week of preparation and two really good games to be a part of.